Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Z-CarCulture podcast. We're doing a little bit of a new thing over here. We're trying to do video, trying to do a different vibe, different setup with the whole set and everything. Actually, just somebody's house, but anyway, it's still the same thing. So with me, to my right, I've got Kudzi.
Yep.
And
That's me.
to my left, you might not recognize him, but you might recognize the voice from the last podcast we did. We had him as a guest, and now he's pretty much one of us now. We've got a tender.
Recurring guest here for me. Recurring special guest.
Just doing cameos now.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a permanent role.
Yeah,
Should
definitely
be fun.
Yeah. So yeah, we all like cars, so we thought might as well just sit down, get comfortable, and talk about cars.
So, I guess we have to stay up to date with what's been going on. And the first topic.
The new Defender, or the new Defender, pretty much what they've done is they've taken the 110, which is the full version of it, and they made it fuller. Yeah, you see, they just added more centimeters to the rear. So it's supposed to be an 8-seater now. And it looks weird, I must say. It looks very weird. So we actually thought, you know what, I think we need to ask other people what they think. And so we ran a poll on our Instagram just to see where people's heads at on that one. And the results are quite interesting, right?
Yeah, very few. I don't know who the random few who think it looks good. But, yeah, the majority was a resounding no. I think it's got a bit too much junk in the trunk. It just looks too heavy at the back.
Yeah, I think I never gelled with the first generation when it went to the 130 because it still suffers from the same problems that we're seeing in the second gen. It always looks a bit awkward, like it's carrying too much. It's suffering from all that length. So I think I have my reservations. I'll say that.
Okay, I have a theory with this one. I think the Disco 5 people haven't been liking it all that much, and I think the sales have shown that. So I think what they try to do is they want to have that 7-seater/8-seater, but with a product that people like, and the Defender has been doing really well so far already. So they thought, why not just merge the two, and that's what they came up with.
Well, I think the people that would appreciate that it's a 7-8-seater can't really afford it in our Zimbabwean setting. It's the wrong crowd they're trying to please. Because Mshika, well, yes, they love the 8-seater, but I think if you buy the regular 110, it's still got enough space. If you want, you can even have the 3-seater arrangement in the front. And what most, I don't know who that is for.
I think it's, in a commercial sense, like an ambulance or, something that has to do all the 4x4ing to get to whoever it needs to get to. I can see where they need the extra space.
Yeah.
But around town, it's just huge. I mean, practically, compared to the 110, it actually loses some of its off-road capability because it's got more overhang at the rear. So the departure angle is slightly decreased. I think it's about 10 degrees or something. Probably won't matter to most people, especially if it's just used on school runs around town. But even then, it looks like you need a Class 2 license for that. It's so big.
No, actually, I know that the exact people that would love this car. Nyaradzo, Doves. I think this is just perfect as a hearse, especially if you want to bury someone in the middle of nowhere.
You know what? I think you may be onto something because that would be the perfect vehicle for that. But otherwise, no. I think for me, even the 110 is a bit long for me. Give me a Defender 90. I like the look. The proportions look right to me. The 110 is pushing it, but now that I've seen the 130, I'm like, maybe 110, it's not so bad.
Maybe that was the whole point of this.
Or to make you realize that what you have is actually good.
Yeah.
Okay.
But a lot of people are saying that the 90, I think, is just the perfect thing. It just ticks all the right boxes, size-wise, dimensions, everything. Because even if you want to sit in the back seats of that car, got enough room.
Yeah, and I also have to say, I was surprised at how wide it is in real life. Like if you stand next to it or in front of it, you're like, whoa, it's quite big. So
But still, like it's still not as big compared to the other big trucks that you can buy right now. I mean, it's not as big as so.
what TRX? No, I think that's one extreme.
That's
That's
like
one
the
extreme.
opposite side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
But I think if you're gonna have something that yes has to be an SUV, but is also fun to drive, I think probably drove a few weeks ago ticks that box really well.
What's
Alfa
that?
Romeo Stelvio.
Oh, nice. Smooth
Yeah,
segue.
very smooth.
Wow.
Oh, I do try with my segments. You know, my segues are.
I'm impressed. But yes, the Alpha, yeah, it was an interesting drive because I thought I knew, or what I had in my mind, the Alpha was close. It was really close to that. It was smooth, very quiet, very civil, light steering, very sporty. It tricks you into thinking that it's smaller than it actually is. So yeah, I was quite intrigued. But at the same time, it didn't feel as quick as we were told. It's got 280 horsepower. It didn't feel that quick. But yeah, it's a good car.
I think, these days 280 horsepower is not a huge amount. I think if you think about maybe in the 80s, early 90s, that's Ferrari power. Like your peak Ferrari 348, 308, that's the kind of horsepower you're looking at. But now the cars are so heavy, you need to have 300
Oh yeah, I also had
horsepower.
him in the back, so maybe that contributes.
Come on.
So it is a really nice car. I had seen it driving around a lot in the area. It looks good on the road.
My God, it does.
Inside is also, I think that thing that people have about, oh, Italian cars are going to break and fall apart. It looks so well put together, and it's a pretty car from all angles, even in plain white that Zimoco had it. But I would not mind having one of those.
I would sign up for that too.
Definitely, because I feel when I first saw it, and I even talked about this in the article that I wrote. Check it out at carcrazyafrica.com.
Good plug. Good plug.
plug right there. Check it out for in-depth thoughts. But to be honest, when I saw it just the first time, I really like the proportions. It's got this like cab back look where you've got longish hood, and then you've got the rest of the cabin at the rear. But the other feature that I really liked were the wheels. So you have this like cloverleaf thing. So that's paying homage to Alfa Romeo's heritage. And those looked really fantastic. Not too big, not too small. Goldilocks, just right.
The wheels are definitely one of the details I really liked about it. I mean, they had other details like the Alfa Romeo logo in the headlights.
I didn't
Just-
notice that.
Oh, yeah. I spent some time
Someone's
taking
paying
photos,
attention. Yeah, right.
catching all these little details, the embossed headrest with the logo. It's just very much, it had a very Italian feel. I'm sure when you get even more premium to your Lamborghinis and Ferraris, the details must be just amazing.
I can imagine.
Can't wait to get to that level. Because the other thing that I really enjoyed was just simple things as seat bolstering. Like it hugs you
Yes,
properly.
exactly. That's the other thing. Like, it's all these. I think they've been in the game long enough to know the tricks to make you feel like you're engaged. Because the seat holds you in place. The steering wheel has like those paddles on the column, so they stay in
They're
place.
fixed,
when
yeah.
they're fixed. And like I say, like you guys are talking about that big rims, so that might also contribute to the handling. So it's all these tiny little details that they now know over years of experience. So I feel like, yeah, I'm quite impressed. I want one.
The nice thing about it as well is it's on the same platform as the Giulia. So if you think how well people think that handles, and it's the same thing, but it's an SUV. So you've got extra ground clearance, but still very sporty handling. I think it's a very good combination. If you want something that's high off the ground, still handles well and looks well, unlike anything else on the road,
Exactly.
I think it's a winning combination.
So you gotta save up your 100,000. That's
The price,
USD.
though, the price. As one of our friends stated, it's like, what's the damage? The damage is quite severe.
But if you save up 30 grand more on top of that, you can get the QV, the quadrifolio.
Just 30.
Yeah, because Zimoko was telling us that there's another Julia coming in, but it's for a customer and it's the QV.
And you get an
they sold
upgrade
it
to
for
500.
130.
Now, I think that in terms of exclusivity and just something different in amongst all the GLEs
Exactly.
and the X5s and everything, I think that's definitely the one. I really hope it's in a nice Italian red, though. The white was nice, but we need a nice, Italian red just to make it pop on the streets.
Exactly. Yeah, I think if you're really inclined to get something that's sporty, then get the Julia. But for Zim, this is adequate because our roads and
Yeah.
traffic. So yeah, it wins in my book. It's a winner.
Because you just want to like cruise over the bumps, and it actually takes it quite well though, like through because the route we took, confirm, we went, I don't know the names of the roads though, but then we took like a loop around the area. So it had everything, like we had the long straight, so you could really open it up and see what it can do. And it actually took off really well, even in normal mode. We didn't have to put it into dynamic, but when we did put it into dynamic, yeah, it really picks up. It's got that linear power delivery too that I really like.
And the shifts are, I couldn't tell if it was a double clutch or just a regular torque converter.
They said it's a torque converter, funny enough.
Yeah, it's the 8-speed ZF. That's the one that you find in Jags and BMWs. Like everybody's using it, but with good reason. That
It's so
transmission
refined.
is, you could tweak it how you want it. It's in the Supra, it's in the Z4, it's in F-types. So if you're gonna pick a transmission, I think that's the one to pick.
Exactly. So you wanted to discuss the new Hilux, if I remember correctly.
Oh, there's so many.
Which one? Right? So many versions.
There's so many, but then the thing about, in fact, Hilux or Toyota is not even the only guilty party, but there are like so many other manufacturers doing the same thing, and that's like having like these special edition, limited edition models, and the reason why those limited edition models were made, well, back in the day, were maybe for homologation reasons for racing or just to celebrate an anniversary. But now we just have like, oh, this is now the 100th Hilux. Let's call it the 100th edition. And, and let's add this insane markup on top of it and put some stickers and call it a day. And now other manufacturers are doing it. So a limited edition GR86 now. Then there's a limited edition Z for the first edition, launch edition. Then you've got, what else? There's just a lot.
I think every manufacturer almost always does a launch edition. I think the first time I took notice of it was around back to Alpha. It was the 4C. There was the launch
Way to bring
edition.
it back.
And you'd get the launch edition paint color, which is what the Z is doing. You've got the proto yellow. I think in each market you only get 100 of those, and then even the Supra had a launch edition when they came out the market. Like launch editions are just.
Even the AMGs, like when they release a new version, there's always like the initial, I forget what they call them, like the first editions.
And there is now even a final edition. Although to be fair, for the E-Class, I kind of get it. We're gonna eventually move away from the big V8, so I get a final edition. That one makes sense to me. But a launch edition, if you wait a year or two, you're gonna have the exact same car.
Exactly, it's the same
It's
thing.
just not the first one. Why are we doing a special edition?
I was actually surprised with the new GR Corolla. There's now that limited version that starts with the name, I forget the name, which is
The one that's stripped out.
Yeah.
No seats in the back.
Yeah. I'm like, just get the normal GR. Or if you can't even afford that, I've seen a lot of non-GR Corollas now where they've just modded it out and it actually looks and performs really well. There's even one in Formula D competing. So it's you don't even have to get the GR. You can even just have a normal one and just trick it out if you have to. But
Yeah, but it's just removing back seats. You can do.
production, bro.
Yeah, if you can, you can just do that by yourself. I mean, limited editions, I think the problem lies with manufacturers wanting to, it's a cash grab, wanting to make the most amount of money
Definitely.
with the limited range of models they have. So rather than actually do some work and come up with something that's new, they much rather just trick up what you currently have, and they dress it up like it's stiffened the springs by 5%.
Exactly.
It's got so much downforce. Yeah, so it's just a cash grab. That's what I think.
Oh, definitely. I think Lamborghini and at one point McLaren were masters at the special editions. You would have the smallest little tweaks and you'd have a markup $20,000, $30,000. Oh, there's only 5 of these. There's only 30 of these. And it's like, guys, just say you want money. Just don't do the special edition.
But I think let's also remember that the market maybe is also to blame, because it means there's people who are willing to, people are lining up.
When you have 20, 30, I don't know how many billionaires and millionaires there are, but if you're in that circle of friends, you want to be the guy who's got the only Lamborghini that has that particular paint color. And so, also, you've all got $1 million in the bank or 10 millions. You need the little things just to say, I'm better than you, my friends, but I'm better than you because I have.
I think the culture has changed because cars are now seen more as an investment too. So you can have the $2 million car knowing that when you sell it, it's going to be for a profit. So now cars are not being bought for enthusiast's sake or to drive it, but you just keep it, wait a few years and sell it. Because, it all started with like the LFAs. LFAs were made in a limited number. And now each one that's being sold is more than double.
Even the brand itself made losses selling the vehicle now.
Which is really weird.
So they don't even get to enjoy the...
No, because that's the weird thing. The LFA, as amazing as it was for its V10 and everything, because they had the double redesign of trying to sort it out, it actually didn't even sell that well. I think even a couple of years ago, you still had dealers with brand new cars, even though the car's been off.
Really?
Yeah, they had brand new cars on the lot that nobody bought. Because people didn't feel, I guess they were like, oh, it's a Lexus.
Yeah.
You don't really... But the people who know about it, they know that this is one of, especially with everything being hybrid and electric nowadays.
Exactly.
That was like a peak Lexus, a peak car moment.
Exactly.
So now the prices for those of you who are lucky enough to have one have just shot up.
It's just insane though. But I feel like Lamborghini, like what you had said before, Lamborghini, they just found a way of doing it, which is, it's a bit weird and a bit off-putting when you're from the outside, because sometimes it doesn't make sense. You look at something like the Hurricane series, for example. You've got the normal one, right? Then they had the Performante. Then there's the Evo. Then there's the something about the STO. So I'm like, you've got S, you've got SV, SVJ. Then you've got the Ultimate.
The Aventador, let's not even start. Because since it came out in 2011? We've had so many iterations. You have the LP, whatever, like that go according to the amount of power the engine produces. So it's like LP 690, LP 700, LP whatever. And then you have the special, the Yota, the SVJ, the S. My God, you have the Veneno, you have Centenario. It's like, I don't know how they think we think, because you know what's underneath.
But yeah, you see, I think that's the thing. You've got, not to say these rich people who can actually afford these cars we're complaining about don't know these things, but for the majority, it's either, like you were saying, it's an investment thing, or they're like, I don't care if the performance is the same, like the mechanicals are the same, but the fact that mine has that particular badge with that plaque, of 1 of 20, 1 of 10, it means that the carbon fiber, the leather, the whatever it is that they've put on top that people can see is different and makes it more exclusive. That's what they're paying for. Not, you don't care if it's got 10 or 20 more horsepower.
I find it hard to reconcile that, you know. But maybe it's just because I'm not.
You're not
I'm
rich
not in the
Foods.
club.
You don't have money. You're broke, bro. It's not for you.
Yeah, I think with your bank balance at a certain level, you look at the wrong thing. You don't
Looking
assess
for
it the
value
same.
for money.
Speaking of bank balances, I think the ultimate limited edition is the Rolls Royce, that 1 of 1. I forget the name. You remember the one they showed at the Pebble Beach or some show like this?
Supposed to be like a
The
boat
Swifttail.
theme, yeah.
Swifttail. I think
Yeah.
that's what they called it, the Rolls Royce Swifttail. It looks like a yacht on 4 wheels.
But I mean, are you really going to be driving that? Are you going to be
It's not
driven
even
that?
being driven now. So it's
It
like the person might keep it in a garage that's underground somewhere for the
Keep
next 3
temperature
decades.
controls and everything, and then
Exactly,
just
yeah.
sell it. See, that's why I appreciate. I think Porsche is more. Even if it's a
that's true.
918, it's a 911, GT3, GT2 RS. These guys, I think, because of what the brand represents, like racing heritage, they will drive it. They will beat it. They will, and it'll still hold value for what it. Somebody will be like, I didn't get an allocation. I don't care that it's got 20 or 30,000 miles on it. I want it, and I'll pay good money for it. I appreciate that. It's like using the car for what it's for. It doesn't make sense to me to buy this thing that's got amazing performance and then just park it in the garage. You never feel it. You never experience it, make memories with it. It's like, okay, so why did you?
Yeah, and you also rob us of the spectacle of watching it, you know?
And I think the biggest offender, Sultan of Brunei. Oh my word.
Well, what hasn't he done?
Oh man, but just left it all there, and now you've got rotting 1 of 1 cars in there, just rotting.
No, it's a crime. I think, although it's interesting, I think car manufacturers now are kind of getting on that thing. You think about Ford and John Cena.
Oh yeah, I
The
remember.
whole GT incident, like they're really starting to try and crack down on people just buying and either flipping them or not. So I think it's a good trend. I don't know if it's a long-term thing you can really do. I mean, if someone's going to sell it, if they never get to buy another special edition, they'll wait till someone's selling one secondhand if they really want it.
Yeah, but that's a shame, though. But I think to actually add on to what you're saying, Tatenda, Porsche is quite good at that, at keeping enthusiasts or like their customers true. Because even when people are buying up you remember the 911R? Yeah. People are buying them and just flipping them on the market. And that's why they came out with the GT3 without the wing? The Touring.
Touring, yeah.
It was just a middle finger to everyone who was flipping the 911R.
Just bring down the value.
Just bring down. Oh, you want to keep these for your exclusive market? You want to keep it to yourself? Okay, here's 1,000 more, just like that. So I applaud Porsche. They do a great job with that. It's very encouraging.
Ferrari does that too, but not in like a nice way like Porsche. But they're like, okay, you want this special car? Okay, then first you need to buy this car and that car and that car. All Ferraris, by the way. Then you can get the special car. So I think it also... You're supposed to have a relationship with the brand itself before you can just jump in, because again, if you're that guy that just buys that special edition and flips it, then you're now banned. Mm-hmm. So it sort of like helps in curbing that trend.
And they are not nice. They will come after you with lawyers.
They will sue you to the ground.
So yeah.
Oh, I mean, it's a brand. For them, it's the image. It's like if people don't have that respect and that appreciation for the brand, as crazy or as lawyerish as it can be, every other car then inherently becomes less worthy. So yeah, I mean, on one hand, I can kind of see it. On the other end, I mean, let me wrap my car. I already paid you money for it. Like,
this is getting personal. Like, what?
I watched the reference. I was like, ooh, there's someone. We're dancing around an issue. So the guy that wrapped his Ferrari, I think the color was a bit
Yeah, I mean, look, the wrap was not
Taste.
the typical image of a Ferrari owner, but also, I mean, the guy's a DJ. He's, it's that kind of.
TikToker, Instagrammer type
You know.
guy. So that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get. He's the Lamborghini buyer. That'll wrap
Oh,
it
yeah,
in chrome.
Lamborghini would have been like, go
Go
ahead.
They
Do your
probably
worst.
called him afterwards, like, "Are you looking for a new
I think
brand?"
he might have gone to McLaren. I can't remember, but yeah, he either went to McLaren or
Oh.
Lamborghini after
Oh.
that whole incident. So yeah, definitely, I think these other brands, they embrace. I think Lamborghini, I mean, it's that Wolf of Wall Street, just shouty sort of thing. I think they embrace that. And also, I mean, if you look back at the brand's history, Lamborghini was like, yeah, these Ferraris, I could do better than that. I'll do it myself. So it's kind of like that, They're not so stuck up, so to speak.
But you brought up McLaren, and they are some of the worst perpetrators when it comes to.
So
Special
special
edition.
editions.
Oh yeah.
I think
Because theirs are like it's like a Migos album release.
What are you trying to say? Ah, why are you bringing Migos into this? No.
I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with you. I promise. But it's like you just bought. Like you can imagine the frustration from people that buy them, the customers. You buy a 575, right? And before you even get to enjoy it for like a full year, there's already an LT version. Then you buy like what's there now? There was a 720, which was outrageous
As it was already.
Then a few years later, like it's always like a one-up thing. They're always trying to one-up so you don't know now which one is going to be the right one for you or the special one, because there's always something that's coming out tomorrow, next week, next month.
It's like an iPhone.
What are you trying to say?
Nah, it's insane. I mean, look, the other thing that they did, which I just remembered about McLaren, was I think it was around the 575. You'd say, oh yeah, we're only doing 1,000 of these, and they bring out 1,000, and they're like, okay, we said we're doing 1,000, but we didn't mean the
1,000,
convertible.
1,000.
We meant like there's 1,000 of those, and there's 1,000 of these, because the roof comes off on this one, so it's different. But it's really not. So that's the other thing is like, you're kind of at the mercy of the manufacturer, because if they decide, oh yeah, people really like this, okay, how can we tweak it and make it, and then other people will be like, yeah, that's like the same thing. And you have to now be the person who's explained to people that no, mine's a special edition because of
20% this and 5% that.
which is just way too much. That's too much work. Just make a model, make as many as you can sell, and then just call it a day. Move on to the next one. Why?
And if it's good enough, like or with Alpha, let's say for example, if it's good enough, you just make one special version and that's it. Yeah. You don't need to come out with like 1,000. Like, if we're going to bring it back home, like 1,000 Hilux versions, just decals.
Dakar, and you're the guy that works with Toyotas. How many versions are there?
The Adventure.
Adventure, there's the Raider. Hey, there's a lot. But those are first world problems. We are in, which world are we? Dead.
No one's checking.
Somewhere.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in the middle. But yeah, special editions really rob the specialness of the rest of the range. It really hurts that. So.
But I hope that, that changes. I hope that there's some way, somehow, that we can change that. Or there's a different trend that can catch on and not this one. I think the next trend is EVs, but where the EVs in Zimbabwe, if we bring it home, will catch on, I think that's something that we'll yet to see and maybe something for another episode.
I guess you're right.
Definitely. So I guess we'll stop it here and I think we can pick it up in the next episode and see what else we'll talk about here in this setup, in this new studio that we've acquired with our funds from our previous videos, which we know you haven't watched. So please go ahead and watch them so that you can at least do more of these and we can do a lot more. We shot something today. We can't tell you what it is yet, but it's definitely coming out soon. So check that out. And Don't forget to also follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter maybe, but not really, but mainly Instagram, Facebook.
Guys on Twitter, just be nice.
Please be nice.
Yeah, just tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, so follow us on Car Crazy Africa and Z-CarCulture. We're now available on the Car Crazy Africa website, so that's where you can see the articles that we're going to be writing. We've released a few so far, like the types of Zimbo drivers. Check that one out. It's been doing really well. And we did a Hilux one, and then we also did the Alfa Romeo review. But definitely have more to come. So stick around for that, guys. And till next time, we'll check you out.
Cheers, guys.
We didn't discuss that. That was nice.
Yeah.